Welcome to another exciting edition of Gotmark76. This week we have a great program lined up for you today. Our feature match will have Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, teaming with his bodyguard and fellow Heenan family member Andre the Giant as they take on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Hulk Hogan. That match coming from the Philadelphia Spectrum. We also have Stan the Lariat Hansen taking on G.I. Joe himself, Sergeant Slaughter. However, we begin today's show in the NWA as Buddy Jack Roberts made his return prior to the fabulous Freebirds taking on Ranger Ross and the Italian Stallion. However, it was comments that Buddy Jack Roberts made before the match that has the NWA talking. Let's take you to those words and then the contest as the fabulous Freebirds take on Ranger Ross and the Italian Stallion. How about those pre-match comments from Buddy Jack Roberts, who's making his return to the NWA, a big takedown by the Italian Stallion on Michael P.S. Hayes. Clearly, Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin somewhat surprised by the return of Buddy Roberts, and it's hard to gauge if Garvin and Hayes are happy to see. I mean, obviously, gosh, there's a lot of history with Michael Hayes and Buddy Roberts. So one would think that Hayes is happy to have his brother back, but to, I guess, single out Jimmy Garvin saying that his services are no longer needed, well, I mean, that seems a little harsh. I mean, the fabulous Freebirds, former U.S. Tag Team Champions, and they're constantly near the top of contendership here in the NWA. And for Buddy Roberts to come back saying that Jimmy Garvin's no longer needed, well, I'm interested to see where this goes as Michael Hayes with a spine buster on the Italian Stallion and takes out Ranger Ross for good measure. So a surprise for Buddy Jack Roberts coming back as the Stallion whips Hayes into the turnbuckle, charges and is met with a knee by Hayes. Hayes now in control, whipping Stallion across into his own turnbuckle, takes the referee down. Inadvertently, the referee's okay, stirring around down there as Stallion whipped into the ropes, strapped to a hold by Hayes, and an elbow drop by Jimmy Garvin. A cohesive tag team unit here in the NWA as Garvin stomping away on the Italian Stallion. One has to think, I mean, I've known Jimmy Garvin for a long time, and one has to think that he's a very passionate guy, and he can at times let his anger get the best of him. So I am very curious to see where this Buddy Roberts return, if it has an effect on the Freebirds. And so far, Garvin looking like it's business as usual as he has Ranger Ross in the, a sunset flip from the top rope. Referee counts one and a kick out at one by Ranger Ross. An elbow drop by Garvin and another elbow drop misses. And there's Ranger Ross's opportunity as Garvin nails a big boot to Ranger Ross. And now, a neck breaker beautifully done by Jimmy Garvin. And a front face lock by Jimmy Jam has Ranger Ross in the sleeper hold. And Ranger driving the back of his head into Garvin's face, breaking the hold. But Garvin responds with a drop kick. And Garvin, again, not shaken up by the, I don't want to say confrontation, but by the conversation earlier prior to the match, as Garvin whipping Italian Stallion into the ropes, misses with an elbow. Stallion catching the top rope, blocks a punch and nails one of his own, a big left hand. Whips Garvin into the turnbuckle. Stallion charges and nails this time. A shoulder block into the midsection of Garvin. Garvin's in trouble. Stomping away now is the Italian Stallion. In firm control here. With the knee of Jimmy Garvin. And Stallion letting Garvin back up to his feet. And from behind, a takedown. An Italian Stallion on the offense against Jimmy Garvin. Tags in Ranger Ross. Ross with a big chop takes Garvin down. Garvin back to his feet, but Ranger Ross whips him into his own turnbuckle, charges and a drop kick in the corner, and a knee to the head. Jimmy Garvin's in trouble against Ranger Ross and Italian Stallion, so maybe Buddy Roberts' comments did have an effect on Jimmy Garvin, as he is in a world of trouble here. And I'm kind of surprised that Ranger Ross or Stallion haven't gone for more pinfall attempts, as Garvin trying to escape, whipping Ranger Ross hard into his turnbuckle. Oh, and that got him. And has Ranger Ross up. Could it be? It is a brainbuster down on Ranger Ross, and Garvin going for the cover. That should be it. 1, 2, and a breakup by Stallion. And Garvin and Hayes with a double drop kick on the Italian Stallion. They sandwiched him. Garvin goes for the cover, get on Ross 2, and a kick out of 2. There was a brief few moments there where Jimmy Garvin was in a world of trouble, as Hayes with a belly-to-belly suplex on Ranger Ross. Has Ross upset now. And a Russian leg sweep. That is the precursor. Could we be seeing the DDT? Hayes setting up Ranger Ross. Kick in the midsection. Here it comes, a DDT. Plants Ranger Ross to the mat. Oh, and I think that's it. If Hayes goes for the cover, that should be it, but he plants Ranger Ross with a DDT. Stallion on the outside, can't get in. 2 and 3. The fabulous Freebirds are your winners here on World Championship Wrestling. And this was a tale of 2 matches. Garvin was in control in the early going, and then something happened where all the offense belonged to Ranger Ross and the Italian Stallion. And then when he tagged in Michael Hayes, Hayes was able to put away Ranger Ross with a DDT. And there's that double drop kick. That crushed. Stallion was not seen after that move. And now one has to wonder if Jimmy Garvin and Hayes are on the same page. But Hayes tagged himself in and cleaned up the business. Fans, your winners, the fabulous Freebirds. There is more to this story, I assure you. Fans, don't go away. We'll be right back after this quick timeout. Last week at Clash of the Champions, Sting was set to defend his NWA World TV title against Dangerous Dan Spivey. However, Spivey came down with a bout of the flu. The NWA Board of Directors, on hand for the live Clash of Champions, decided to give the title opportunity to Dr. Death Steve Williams. During the broadcast, Kevin Sullivan said if Dr. Death did not win the TV title, then he would have to face the Games Master. Well, Sting and Dr. Death went to a time limit draw, thus Dr. Death not winning the match or the title. At the conclusion of the match, Kevin Sullivan went to attack Dr. Death. Our following contest here on Gotmark76 this week has Dr. Death Steve Williams looking for a measure of revenge against Games Master Kevin Sullivan. And there he is, Kevin Sullivan, making his way to the ring. And I am sure that Dr. Death Steve Williams cannot wait to get his hands on the Games Master after the actions of Kevin Sullivan last week at Clash of the Champions. He gave Dr. Death Steve Williams an ultimatum, saying, win the TV title or you will feel the wrath of the Games Master. Well, that match with Sting went to a time limit draw, and Dr. Death found himself on the receiving end of an attack by by Kevin Sullivan, as there is Dr. Death making his way to the ring. And Dr. Death about to get things started here, and the bell is not rung, but Dr. Death is chasing Kevin Sullivan on the outside floor. Oh, and a chop block takes Sullivan down. Again, the bell has not rung yet, and Dr. Death stomping away on Kevin Sullivan. Williams picks up Sullivan, a suplex, and holding him up in the air for a long time, and down on the concrete. Dr. Death with a suplex on Kevin Sullivan on the concrete, and Sullivan back to his feet. Dr. Death throwing Sullivan into the stairs. And many would say that Sullivan is demented, and here he is on the receiving end of a suplex on the concrete floor, and the man bounces right back up, and now Dr. Death with a series of forearms to the back of Kevin Sullivan. Throws him into the ring, and now the referee calls for the bell, and away we go. And Dr. Death again has Sullivan up, and a brain buster. Down goes Sullivan. And Dr. Death finally having a chance to take off his robe, and a clothesline up and over goes Sullivan. Now, Dr. Death falling out to the floor, stomping away on Kevin Sullivan. And the referee has begun his count. Oh, and Sullivan pulling Dr. Death through against the top rope, but Dr. Death back in control, whipping Sullivan into the turnbuckles, and Sullivan falls to the mat. And Dr. Death, you'll notice he is not wearing varsity club attire, and has Sullivan up in a power slam down. That could be it. 1 and no. Dr. Death says, no, I'm not pinning you that quickly. I'm going to make you suffer. And he lets Sullivan up. Now Dr. Death picking up Sullivan, get a big right hand. And a belly-to-back suplex, up and over goes Sullivan. Dr. Death goes for the cover. And 3, puts him away. And your winner is Dr. Death, Steve Williams. A side suplex by Dr. Death puts Kevin Sullivan away for good. And maybe Dr. Death can put the varsity club behind him and focus on winning a championship. And there was a side suplex, and your winner, Dr. Death Steve Williams, making very short work of the Games Master Kevin Sullivan. Fans, we have much more NWA Wrestling after this quick timeout. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Wait a second. Stay here. Dr. Death following Sullivan out to the ring. He wants to add punishment, and a big right hand, another right hand. The referee says the match is over. Oh, and the referee gets caught in this. He gets some shrapnel. Caught by Dr. Death. And Dr. Death firing away with a series of fists and forearms. Had Sullivan up. Oh, and a power slam on the concrete floor. Oh, man. We have more action after this quick timeout.
They say that war is sweet for those who have yet to experience it. On Monday, February 25th, 2019, on the Gotmark76 YouTube channel, the stars of the NWA prepare for Wrestle War. The NWA World title will be defended as Lex Luger challenges the NWA World Champion. The Road Warriors defend the NWA World Tag Team Championship against the Superpowers. Sting defends his world television title against the Maniac, Cactus Jack Manson. The Skyscrapers defend the United States Tag Team Championship against Rick and Scott, the Steiner Brothers. In a loser leaves the NWA match, the original Midnight Express take on the Midnight Express. Barry Windham takes on the challenge of Flying Brian Pillman. Arn Anderson takes on the Great Muta. Terry Funk goes one-on-one with Tully Blanchard. The stars of the NWA prepare for an all-out Wrestle War.
Welcome back to Gotmark76 this week. Next week at Wrestle War, 2 tag teams will enter, 1 will remain, as the original Midnight Express of Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose take on the Midnight Express of Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan. Now this all started back at Clash of the Champions New York Knockout, which is available on the Gotmark76 YouTube channel, when the Midnight Express of Dennis Condrey, Randy Rose, and Paulie Dangerously made an appearance after a one-on-one match between Bobby Eaton and Dusty Rhodes. Dennis Condrey tried to recruit Bobby Eaton to joining his version of the Midnight Express, and when Beautiful Bobby declined the offer, he was attacked by Dennis Condrey. Well, that attack turned into a 3-on-1 as Randy Rose and Paulie Dangerously joined in, beating down Beautiful Bobby, and it was then kind of figured out that the NWA member who had canceled the flights of Jim Cornette and Stan Lane may not have been an NWA official at all, but rather Paul E. Dangerously. These 2 teams were set to square off the next month at Starrcade in a Midnight Madness Texas Tornado match. The conclusion of that match saw Dennis Condrey nailing his former partner Bobby Eaton with a face plant buster and getting the pinfall on his former tag team partner. And then, of course, 2 weeks ago on Gotmark76 this week, it was Condrey again who nailed Beautiful Bobby and pinned him. Let's go to some recorded comments from Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton as they get ready for the loser leaves the NWA match. Welcome back to Gotmark76. Last month, Larry Zbyszko outlasted Jerry the King Lawler, Sergeant Slaughter, and Stan the Lariat Hansen to become the AWA World Heavyweight Champion. This week, Gotmark76 takes us to Las Vegas, where Stan the Lariat Hansen goes one-on-one with Sergeant Slaughter. The winner of this contest will be considered a future world title opportunity. Without further ado, let's head to Las Vegas, where Sergeant Slaughter takes on Stan the Lariat Hansen. And away we go, the referee about to call for the bell. And we are set. As Sergeant Slaughter backs Hansen into the corner. Will we get a clean break? I'm not so sure with Stan Hansen involved, but we do. As Sergeant Slaughter backs away. Front face lock. Up. And plants Stan Hansen down to the mat. Hansen did not like that very much, and another collar and elbow tie up, and this time Hansen backs Sarge into the corner. Oh, and Sarge with a slap in the face, and that's something that you would expect to see out of Hansen, but nails him with a shoulder block, takes Sergeant Slaughter down. Stan Hansen won, or apparently won, the AWA World Heavyweight Championship last month against Jerry Lawler, but due to use of a steel chair and outside interference by Larry Zbyszko, AWA President Stanley Blackburn declared the title vacant. And then, of course, Larry Zbyszko defeated Jerry Lawler, Stan Hansen, and Sergeant Slaughter in a 4-corner elimination match just a few weeks ago to become the undisputed AWA World Heavyweight Champion. So Slaughter and Hansen here are competing for contendership. As of course, next month, AWA Super Clash makes its way as Hansen goes for the cover in a count of 1. AWA Super Clash makes its way to the Gotmark76 YouTube channel. Oh, and a spine buster by Stan Hansen takes Sergeant Slaughter down. And both of these men are tough competitors, and they are always a threat to win any championship here in the AWA. So if I'm Larry Zbyszko or Rugged Ronnie Garvin, as Hansen goes for the cover 1 and a kick out at 1 by Sergeant Slaughter, I am on the lookout for these two. As Sergeant Slaughter with a punch to the midsection, going for a kick and is met with an elbow by Hansen. Charging again, and Hansen clobbers him with a big right, another right. And now Hansen biting the forehead of Sergeant Slaughter. A Snapmare takeover with vengeance. And now Hansen with a side headlock. Sergeant Slaughter in trouble right now. Reverses out and has a headlock of his own. And a big right hand and uppercut by Sergeant Slaughter. And a shoulder block takes Hansen down. Now Hansen with a shoulder block of his own. And Hansen dragging Sarge to the center of the ring. Setting him up, it could be that Boston Crab. Hansen trying to turn it over, and he does. Oh, and Sergeant Slaughter makes it to the ropes. Sarge got lucky there. And Hansen dragging Sergeant Slaughter to the middle of the ring. Is this going to be it? Sarge, can he kick out too? And a kick out barely by Sergeant Slaughter as Stan Hansen complains about the speed of the count. Slaughter was locked in the Boston Crab, and Hansen tried to pin him. And Sergeant Slaughter is in a world of trouble. And a big clothesline, and Sergeant Slaughter is not kicking out from this. Referee counts 1, 2, and now he does! Sergeant Slaughter kicks out of the big lariat by Stan Hansen. That finishing maneuver is Stan Hansen's nickname, the Lariat. And now a submission maneuver. And Stan Hansen has been in control of the majority of this contest. And the referee asking Sarge to submit, but Sarge gets out, fights off with a big right hand. The comeback, and another shoulder block by Hansen takes Sergeant Slaughter down. And now Hansen drops the elbow to the lower back of Sergeant Slaughter. Rolls over Slaughter, goes for the cover. Referee in position, counts 1, 2, and a kick out at 2. And Sergeant Slaughter is in very deep trouble here. He's in dire straits. If he plans to win this match, he's going to need a major comeback. And there it is. A big left, a big right. Staggers Hansen in the corner, another right. Sarge climbing up top and nails a clothesline. Takes Hansen down. The fans are on their feet here in Las Vegas at the Showboat Pavilion. And a big shoulder block by Sergeant Slaughter. And now Slaughter. And another spine buster by Stan Hansen. Turns over Slaughter, and here's that maneuver that Hansen learned in Japan. A step over toe hold, but Slaughter again makes it to the ropes. Very fortunate. And now Hansen drops an elbow. Oh my gosh. That is 290 pounds coming down across the throat of Sergeant Slaughter. And Stan Hansen now working the arm. Sarge sweeps the leg, takes Hansen down with a big kick to the back of the neck. Now a kick to the chest. Slaughter trying to make a comeback. And that was short-lived as Hansen with a big arm drag takeover. A big forearm, another right hand. And now from behind, the belly-to-back suplex up and over goes Sergeant Slaughter. And Stan Hansen is dominating this contest. Goes for the cover. Referee counts 1, 2, and 3. Oh, and that has to be somewhat of an upset. Stan Hansen dominated this contest, and Slaughter couldn't get out of second gear. He had his brief moments, but this match was totally dominated by Stan Hansen. And one has to wonder where Sergeant Slaughter goes from here. The AWA Championship Committee paying close attention to this contest. They need to raise Stan Hansen and elevate him up to #1 contender status. And there was a lariat that Sergeant Slaughter kicked out of. But fans, your winner is Sergeant Slaughter. Your winner is Stan Hansen. Sergeant Slaughter being dominated here. And we'll have much more AWA wrestling
Here is your winner,
after this
Stan
quick timeout.
Hansen.
Welcome back to Gotmark76 this week. It was at the Royal Rumble last month when Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff successfully defended his World Heavyweight Championship against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Also on that card, Hulk Hogan defeated Andre the Giant to earn himself a future world title match, which will of course take place at WrestleMania. Our main event this week takes us to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Spectrum, as Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff teams with fellow Heenan family member Andre the Giant as they go against Hulk Hogan and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And away we go here, the main event in Philadelphia, as Mr. Wonderful with a front face lock and Steamboat reversing out of a suplex. And now Steamboat whipping Orndorff up and over the top rope. Goes Mr. Wonderful in the beginning of this match, starting off fast and furious for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And Steamboat now has Orndorff. And a power slam down to the mat. And Mr. Wonderful favoring his back in the early going of this contest. A big right hand by Ricky Steamboat. As Orndorff against the ropes. And a stalemate. These two men own a crucifix. In the predicament as Mr. Wonderful made the ropes. These two men were the main event at the Royal Rumble last month in January. And Ricky Steamboat came just short as he chops Mr. Wonderful to the mat. And now Steamboat picking up Orndorff. Whipping him hard into the ropes. Rebound and nails him with a chop again. As Hulk Hogan cheers on in the background. Orndorff fighting back with a knee to the face. And whipping Steamboat into the corner. He's going to tag in Andre the Giant. And some double team maneuvers. And a double shoulder block takes Steamboat down as Andre begins stomping away on the Dragon. Bobby Heenan at ringside cheering on and giving instructions to Andre the Giant. It was Andre the Giant's failure to defeat Hulk Hogan at the Royal Rumble, which gave Hulk Hogan the world title match at WrestleMania coming up in March, actually April 1st. A rake to the back by Andre the Giant, and Ricky Steamboat's in trouble. And now Andre working the leg of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff has made it no secret he wants Hulk Hogan. The Heenan family does not want Orndorff to want Hogan. But Mr. Wonderful, over the last 6 months or so, ever since, beautiful maneuver by Steamboat, takes Andre up and down, tags in, and here comes the Hulkster. And Mr. Wonderful has been on a hot streak as of late. It began at the Survivor Series. He got ultra confident when he defeated Don the Rock Morocco, the Intercontinental Champion at the time, and Hulk Hogan to secure victory for his team. Now Andre with a beautiful suplex takes Hogan up and over. So Orndorff has the confidence. I find it strikingly odd that the Hina family, who they're never shy from being overconfident or cocky, arrogant, they don't seem to have the same confidence that Orndorff has. And I initially thought I was reading into that, but the more and more it happens, the more and more Andre is being used as a roadblock because he has Hogan locked up in a camel clutch. And Hogan escapes by pulling the legs of Andre, and Andre goes face and chest first to the mat. Eventually in this contest, we will see Orndorff and Hogan go at it to give us a preview of WrestleMania as Hogan climbs the top rope in a series of right hands to the side of the head of Andre the Giant. And 10 times for good measure, and Andre's in trouble as Hogan flexes to the fans and a tag, and here comes Orndorff, who's met with a clothesline. Hogan drops a leg! Hogan drops a leg! Goes for the cover, that could be it! The referee counts one, and a kick out of one! Wow! Mr. Wonderful kicked out of the leg drop by Hulk Hogan at a 1 count. And that alone shows that Mr. Wonderful is not afraid of Hulk Hogan. And an open hand slap by Hogan and a big right hand takes Orndorff down. These two men will go at it as Hulk Hogan locks the camel clutch on Mr. Wonderful. And now Orndorff trying to escape, and he powers out, pulls the legs, and escapes the same way that Hogan escaped earlier. And now Orndorff whipping Hogan into the turnbuckle, tags in Andre, and what? Andre on the top rope! Fourth wall crashing down with a big clothesline! Andre nearly broke the ring, climbing the top rope, and now has Hogan again in a camel clutch! Oh, that was grace! As much grace and beauty as you're gonna see from a 540-pound man climbing the top rope, not breaking the ring, leaping and nailing a lariat clothesline to Hulk Hogan. That's Hogan now, raking the eyes of Andre the Giant. We have got to see a replay of that. Andre the Giant on the top rope with a clothesline. WWE 2K19 rocks. Into the corner goes Hogan. And now Andre tagging in Mr. Wonderful. They double team maneuver. And Orndorff in control, working the arm now of Hulk Hogan. As Ricky Steamboat cheers on, Mr. Wonderful decides to flex. So be it, he is the world champion, he can do what he wants. He can't lose a title in a tag team match. And now Hogan tags in Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And Steamboat meets Orndorff in an elbow. And Steamboat is feeling it here in Philadelphia. Picking up Mr. Wonderful. And a running crossbody takes Orndorff down. Orndorff reversing with a backdrop, and up and over goes Steamboat. Orndorff dropping the elbow, but the highlight of this match thus far has been Andre the Giant with a top rope clothesline. And now Andre tagged back in, working over Steamboat, who fights back with a big uppercut. Oh, forearm smash, a chop to the neck. And a big right hand has Andre reeling, and Andre throwing Steamboat up and over the top, but not to the floor. And Andre unceremoniously dumps Steamboat back in and asks the Philadelphia fans what they think of him. I see a lot of one-finger salutes. And now Andre working the arm of Ricky Steamboat. Now Andre stomping away on the back of the Dragon. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, as of yet, has no idea who his WrestleMania opponent will be. The match, of course, has the card for that WrestleMania, as he makes a tag, here comes Hogan, has not been finalized. So Ricky the Steamboat finds himself on the outside looking in at the world title match. As another open hand slap by Hulk Hogan on Andre this time. And let's see if he responds any differently than Orndorff, as a big uppercut takes Andre down. Hogan now whips Andre hard, and up and over goes Andre to the floor, and Hogan flexes for the masses here in Philadelphia, 15,000 strong. as Bobby Heenan helps Andre back up, has these words of encouragement. I can't quite hear what Bobby Heenan is instructing. But Andre rolls back in, and Bobby's very excited as Hogan whips Andre into the ropes, follows up with a clothesline, and down goes Andre. And now Hogan lining up and drops a leg on Andre. Hogan goes for the cover, and that could be it. And Mr. Wonderful breaks up the pinfall and yanks Hogan from behind as Andre celebrates to the crowd. And now Andre with a series of stomps to the back of Hulk Hogan and a rake in the back, Greco-Roman style. And Hulk Hogan fighting back with a big right hand. Whips Andre into the rope and up and over goes Andre. Hogan falling onto the floor as the referee has begun a count. And Hogan whipping Andre hard into the guardrail. A series of right hands has Andre staggered to the floor. And whips Andre hard into the turnbuckle, the ring post, and slams his head into the ring post. The referee's count is up to 5. And Hogan climbs back into the ring. 7. The referee's count up to 7 as Hogan flexes to the fans. 8. And I think Hogan, he's going to go back out and get Andre. He wants to pin Andre. Another feather in Hogan's cap, and we can take out Andre the Giant. The matchmakers here in the World Wrestling Federation as Hogan whips Andre again. Wow, that's the second time in this contest he has whipped into the ring post. And Hogan now picking up Andre. I've seen very few men manhandle Andre the Giant like Hulk Hogan has the last several months here in the World Wrestling Federation. And a big boot by Hulk Hogan, the shoulder block, takes Andre down. Oh, and Hogan missing with a clothesline, and Andre with a big right hand. But not missing the clothesline that time. Hogan takes Andre down. And Hogan working over Andre with a big right hand and a clothesline up and over the top rope again. And Andre has spent many of the last several minutes on the outside as Hulk Hogan tags in Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And Steamboat having words with Mr. Wonderful as Steamboat awaits the fate of Andre the Giant. And now Steamboat climbing the second turnbuckle, getting a rise out of the fans. They're here on their feet in Philadelphia. They love the Dragon. As Andre rolls back in and is met with a knee miss by Andre and a big right hand by Andre. And has Steamboat up and a tombstone power driver and Steamboat in trouble. Andre now dragging Steamboat to the center of the ring and stomping on the forehead. 530 pounds on the cranium of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And now Andre working the neck of the Dragon. I don't see the Ricky Steamboat submitting to this maneuver. Ricky Steamboat does not submit, but he is finding himself in a precarious situation and sweeps the leg and takes Andre down. And Orndorff with a big right hand stuns the Dragon as Andre trying to recover on the mat. A back and forth contest here in the Spectrum in Philadelphia. We thank you for joining us in the big headbutt. And here comes that suplex up and over, throwing Steamboat halfway across the ring. Andre picks up Steamboat in the Gorilla Press Slam. Up and down goes Steamboat. And now Andre lining up and drops the elbow. Goes for the cover. That could be it. 1, 2, and a breakup by Hogan. And now Orndorff and Hogan going at it again. A fall-away slam by Mr. Wonderful. And the referee getting order back in this contest. And Andre with a drop toe hold, Steamboat coming back. And a crossbody takes Andre down. Steamboat going up top. Could it be setting him up? Orndorff throws him off. Orndorff throws him men down. Steamboat starting to roll over. Can he make the tag? Can he make the tag to Hogan? And Andre now starting to get up. Andre beats him up. But Steamboat went to make a tag, but Hogan wasn't there. And now Andre has Steamboat. And a snapmare takeover by Andre. And Hogan's on the outside. Steamboat went to lunge and make a tag, but Hogan wasn't there. And now Hogan back in the ring, but he's not the legal man. And a big boot by Hulk Hogan. He has him off the ropes and drops the leg. He drops the leg on Andre. Steamboat getting back to his feet. Can he go for the cover? Steamboat climbing the top rope. He's setting Andre up. He leaps and he nails a crossbody off the top rope. The referee goes for the cover. 1, 2, and 3. And your winners are Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Hulk Hogan. Hogan dropped the leg on Orndorff. He dropped the leg on Andre. It was the second leg drop to Andre, which enabled Ricky Steamboat to recover and nail Andre with the crossbody up the top rope. And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat pins Andre the Giant. And here are some highlights from earlier in the contest. And what a main event this was. As all four men are no strangers to each other, there is no love lost here. And there's the big boot by Hogan, followed up by the leg drop, and of course a crossbody.
Here are your winners.
Fans, we
Ricky
thank you for joining
the
us this week on Gotmark76 this week. We will see you next week when the NWA presents Wrestle War. That's right, Wrestle War. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week. What the what?